The night the city went dark, one tiny red light kept blinking inside an abandoned apartment. Most people didn't notice it. Most people wouldn't care. But Detective Evelyn Hart stopped mid-street, rain dripping down her face, because something about that tiny red dot felt wrong. Like it was not just blinking, but watching. She pushed through the rusted door of Unit 407, a room that had been empty for 12 long years. The smell of old wood and dust clung to the air. Wallpaper peeled off like dead skin. Her steps echoed too loudly for a place that should have been truly lifeless. But the room wasn't lifeless that a camera stood in the center on a crooked tripod. Old, rusted, wrong. Yet the recording light on it glowed bright and modern, blinking steadily as if it had been turned on seconds ago. Evelyn walked toward it with the caution of someone approaching a sleeping predator. The lens was dirty and fogged, except for one perfect clean circle in the center. Something, or someone, had been pressing their face or their eye directly onto it. Her pulse hammered as she reached out and pressed the playback button. Static filled the small apartment, followed by a slow hum that crawled into her bones. Then a whisper spilled through the speaker, a whisper so jagged it felt painful just to hear. "I see you." The screen flickered violently. A shape appeared, a human silhouette, almost. But its edges were too blurred, too broken, like it didn't belong in the frame or in this world. Before she could react, the figure lifted its hand and knocked on the camera lens from the inside, a dull metallic tap that echoed in the room. Evelyn stumbled backward, breath caught in her throat. The camera blinked twice, then switched itself off as the silence thickened. Something above her let out a heavy thud, followed by slow, dragging footsteps moving across the ceiling, heading toward the center of the apartment directly above her. Unit 507. Her fingers tightened around her gun. The building had no electricity, no residents, no reason for footsteps or whispers or blinking lights. Yet the hallway outside burst into brilliant, startling brightness as she stepped out. Every bulb flickered on, buzzing with power the building shouldn't have. Only her floor. Only now. Only for her that a cold shiver slid down her spine as she whispered to herself, "All right, let's see who's watching." She started up the stairs toward Unit 507, feeling a presence guiding her, waiting for her, wanting her to climb. The truth was up there, and so was something else, something that already knew her name. Evelyn climbed the stairs with slow, measured steps, each one echoing up the hollow building like a countdown. The air grew colder with every step, tight and sharp like invisible fingers brushing against her skin. By the time she reached the 5th floor, her breath was leaving white mist in front of her face, something that shouldn't be possible in a sealed building. Unit 507 stood at the end of the hallway, its doors slightly open as if someone had just walked in or was still inside. A faint, rhythmic tapping came from within. Not footsteps, not movement, something softer, like fingernails drumming against a wooden surface. Evelyn pushed the door open with her gun raised. The room was not like the one downstairs. This apartment was too clean, too organized. No dust, no debris. Everything was arranged with unnatural precision. Chairs aligned perfectly, books stacked in flawless symmetry, curtains drawn to the exact same height on both windows. As if someone obsessed with order lived here, or as if something copied the idea of order but didn't quite understand it. Her eyes were drawn to the far wall that a single chair sat there, facing the corner. Someone was sitting in it, or something shaped like a someone. The figure didn't move. Its back was turned to her. Long, tangled hair spilled over its shoulders. Evelyn forced down the tremor rising in her throat. "Police," she said quietly. "Don't move." The tapping stopped. The figure's head tilted. Not turning, tilting slowly, like a mechanical doll trying to listen. Then, in one smooth motion, it stood. It didn't turn around. Instead, it raised its hand and began tracing something on the wall with its fingertip. A circle, then another, then a line through both. Over and over again, carving the same symbol with unnatural speed. Evelyn swallowed hard. I said, "Don't move." The figure froze. Then it whispered, not with a human voice, but with the exact same jagged tone she had heard from the camera downstairs. "You took the wrong case." Evelyn. Her blood ran cold that it knew her name. Slowly, painfully slowly, the figure turned its head, not the body, just the head, rotating far beyond what a human neck should allow. The face that met hers wasn't a face at all, just smooth, stretched skin with no features except a single black line where a mouth should beat out a smile. Evelyn fired. The gunshot cracked through the room, but the figure vanished before the bullet even crossed the air, dissolving into a trail of shadow that slithered across the wall and disappeared into the corner like smoke being sucked into a vent. The sudden bang behind her made her spin. The door had slammed shut on its own. The lights flickered violently, then went out, plunging her into darkness. Only one light remained, a small glowing red in the corner of the ceiling, a camera. Another one watching her, recording her. The red blinked twice. Then a voice whispered from behind her ear, so close she felt the breath of it. "Don't look back." Her body froze, because she knew whatever was behind her was close enough to touch. Evelyn didn't breathe. She didn't blink. She didn't turn. The warning whispered behind her wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Something stood just inches from her back, close enough that she could feel its presence bending the air around her. Cold seeped through her spine, spreading like frost under her skin. The red recording light in the corner blinked again, casting tiny flashes across the floor. Blink, 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 almost like a signal. Evelyn forced her voice out, barely above a whisper. "If you wanted me dead, you would have done it already." Silence. Then she heard it. A slow inhale. Not human. Too deep. Too hollow. Like lungs that had never been meant to breathe were trying to remember how. Her fingers tightened around the gun. Her heart pounded so hard it hurt. The voice returned, a soft vibration against her ear. "You shouldn't be here." The cold intensified. Her instincts screamed to run, to turn, to shoot, to do anything. But something told her that the thing behind her didn't want violence, that it wanted obedience. And she refused to give it that. With a sudden burst of courage fueled more by fear than bravery, Evelyn spun around and fired 3 shots into the darkness. The muzzle flash lit the room like lightning. Nothing was there. But the smell of smoke curled in the air, and the shadows on the far wall rippled as if something had just moved out of the light's reach. Her breathing trembled. "Show yourself." A soft tapping began, the same rhythmic sound she'd heard upstairs earlier. This time it came from under the floor. Slow taps, like fingers knocking from inside the wood beneath her feet. Tap, 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 and then the voice rose through the floor, muffled but perfectly clear. "We are already here." The boards under her boots began to bulge upward, like something was pushing from underneath, like hands or faces or both. Evelyn took a step back, nearly tripping over the broken chair behind her. The camera in the corner word "IT" wasn't just recording now. It was tilting, following her movement with unnatural precision. She aimed at it. "Stop." Now. The camera froze. Then its speaker crackled, and an entirely different voice came through. A young girl. Weak. Trembling. Terrified. "Help me. Please, he's still in here." Evelyn's eyes widened. "Who are you?" Static. Then the same girl's voice, choking on fear. "They won't let me leave. They won't let any of us leave." Before Evelyn could respond, the floor beneath her cracked open with a violent snap, and a pale hand shot out, grabbing her ankle. She screamed as another hand emerged. Then another, pulling, clawing, dragging. The thing behind the camera whispered one last time, "Welcome to the Watchers." The floor shattered, and Evelyn was pulled into the darkness below. Evelyn hit the darkness like falling into cold water, but there was no water, no floor, no air. just an endless drop that stole sound from her throat and breath from her lungs. For a moment, she felt weightless, suspended in a void that didn't belong to the world she knew. Then she slammed onto solid ground. Pain shot up her spine. Dust filled her mouth. She pushed herself up slowly, coughing, blinking fast to adjust her eyes, but the darkness around her wasn't natural. It was thick, shifting, alive, like the shadows themselves were breathing that a faint glow flickered behind her. She turned. Dozens of cameras hung from the ceiling by frayed wires, swinging gently as if someone had walked past them moments ago. Their little red lights blinked one by one, spreading through the cavernous underground space like a trail of watching eyes. Evelyn forced her sore legs to stand. "Where am I?" Her voice echoed in the strange chamber. Somewhere in the distance, a child cried softly. Evelyn followed the sound cautiously, stepping over broken equipment, shattered lenses, and videotape reels scattered like bones. With every step, the cameras tilted toward her, their servos whining softly. Watching her angle, her breath, her heartbeat, the crying grew louder. She reached a narrow tunnel and moved inside, her flashlight flickering with each breath. At the end of the passage, the space opened into a small circular room. And there, in the center, sat a girl, barely 15. Knees pulled to her chest, hair tangled, eyes wide with terror. The same voice she heard through the camera. Evelyn knelt. "I heard you. You asked for help. What happened to you?" The girl looked up slowly, too slowly, like her body had forgotten how to move. "They keep us here," she whispered. "Anyone who the Watchers choose can't leave." "The Watchers?" Evelyn asked, scanning the darkness. "They live between frames," the girl whispered. "They hide in cameras, in recordings, in everything that sees." Evelyn reached out. "We're getting out. Both of us. Can you walk?" The girl flinched at the movement. "No," her voice cracked. "Because he's behind you." Evelyn froze. Not again. A cold ripple ran across her skin. Her hand tightened around her gun. She turned slowly. Inch by inch. A man stood in the doorway. Or what used to be a man. His limbs were wrong. Too long, too thin, bending at angles that defied bones. His face was a blur, like bad footage skipping between frames. Every time he twitched, his body jittered like a corrupted video. He stepped toward them. The girl crawled backward, shaking. "He's the first one they took. Now he brings them more." Evelyn raised her gun. "Stop right there." The figure jerked to the side instantly, appearing 2 feet closer in a glitching blur. Her finger tightened on the trigger, but the creature spoke first, in a voice that came from everywhere at once. "You can't save her." Evelyn fired. The bullet passed through the creature like smoke. It didn't bleed. It didn't react. It simply flickered, then appeared right in front of her, face inches from hers, like a jump cut in real life. Evelyn stumbled back. The creature leaned in, whispering with a voice layered in static. "They're already watching you." Then every camera in the chamber turned toward Evelyn at the same time. Hundreds of red dots locking onto her like a swarm of mechanical eyes. The girl screamed. The creature lunged. Evelyn grabbed the girl and ran deeper into the tunnels as the cameras clicked into a frenzy behind them, capturing every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. And above the chaos, one whisper floated through the dark. "You belong to us now." Evelyn ran blind through the twisting underground tunnels, the girl's trembling hand locked tightly in hers. Behind them, the creature's distorted footsteps came in broken bursts, not steady, not rhythmic, but glitching toward them like reality itself was skipping. Each time it moved, the lights flickered. Each flicker pulled it closer. The child's sobs echoed off the damp concrete walls. "He won't stop. He never stops. He always comes back." Evelyn tightened her grip. "Not while I'm breathing." The tunnel widened into a long corridor lined with more cameras, some smashed, some still blinking weakly. A metallic smell clung to the air, like burnt wires and something far older, Something dead. Evelyn's flashlight flickered violently, then shut off completely. Total darkness swallowed them. The girl whimpered. He's here. Evelyn forced herself to stay steady, hand instinctively reaching the wall. Her fingertips brushed something smooth and cold, a lens. Then another. Then another. Cameras lined the walls like insects nesting in the stone. A faint whirring filled the darkness. Dozens of camera shutters opening. All at once. Light burst from their tiny LEDs, creating a strobe effect that painted the corridor in broken flashes. Flash. Evelyn pulling the girl forward. Flash. The corridor stretching endlessly. Flash. The creature standing suddenly 10 feet closer. Flash. 5 feet. Flash behind them. Evelyn whipped around, firing blindly. The gunshots echoed like thunder, but the flickering lights revealed the truth. He wasn't there. He never stood still long enough to be anywhere. Why are they doing this? Evelyn gasped. The girl spoke through sobs. They feed on what the camera sees. Fear, pain endings. The more they capture, the stronger they get. Evelyn swallowed hard. Then we destroy the cameras. The lights cut out. Every red LED in the corridor blinked on at the same exact moment. Hundreds of tiny crimson eyes focusing directly on her. A voice boomed through every camera at once, layered with static, deep enough to shake dust from the ceiling. You cannot destroy the watchers. The ground vibrated. Dust rained down. The cameras hummed louder, brighter. The girl screamed and covered her ears. He's coming. Evelyn grabbed her by the shoulders. We keep moving, no matter what. They ran. The corridor split in two, left tunnel and right. Evelyn didn't hesitate. She dragged the girl into the right tunnel. It was narrower, darker, but the air felt warmer. That meant an exit was possible. The girl suddenly yanked her hand free. We can't go that way. Why not? That's where they take the ones they keep forever. A new sound echoed down the tunnel. Not mechanical, not static, breathing. Human. Evelyn lifted her gun. Stay behind me. She stepped forward cautiously until a figure emerged from the darkness at the far end. Not the creature. A man. Dirty. Thin. Barefoot. Wild-eyed. His clothes hung in rags, and his skin was marked with deep scratches. Words carved into his arms. He staggered toward them, shaking violently. Please, don't let them use me again. Evelyn approached slowly. Who are you? I was like you, he rasped. A detective. I tried to find the missing kids. The cameras, they took everything from me. The girl hid behind Evelyn. He's lying. They all lie. The man grabbed Evelyn's arm desperately. They're going to choose you. They're already choosing you. Evelyn pulled back, raising her weapon. Let go. He did. But not because she ordered him. He stopped moving, stopped breathing. A shadow swallowed him from the feet upward, erasing him like ink spreading across paper until nothing remained. The creature's voice flooded the tunnel behind them. You cannot save what is already ours. The girl screamed. Evelyn grabbed her and ran again, deeper into the maze, her lungs burning, throat tight, heart hammering. Because now she understood. They didn't want the girl, they wanted her, and the cameras were choosing her with every blink. Evelyn didn't notice when her legs began to shake. She didn't notice when her breath turned sharp and metallic in her chest. All she noticed was the girl's small hand gripping hers tighter with every step. As if letting go meant instant death, the tunnel twisted downward, spiraling beneath the city like the roots of some ancient mechanical beast. The air grew heavier, thicker, humming with a low vibration that rattled her teeth. It felt like the cameras were breathing. The girl whispered, "They're close." Evelyn kept moving. "Keep your head down. Don't look at anything that moves." But the walls were already moving. The deeper they descended, the more the old stone shifted, not breaking, not crumbling, but rearranging itself. Shapes pushed out from inside the walls. Human outlines, faces pressed into the stone as if people had walked into the wall and simply stayed there forever. Their mouths were open in silent screams. Their hands were stretched out, fingers frozen as if begging for help. The girl looked away, trembling. They're watching through them. Evelyn forced herself to keep walking, even as cold hands of stone brushed her shoulders, her back, her arms, guiding her deeper. "Why me?" she whispered under her breath. "Why are they choosing me?" The answer came without warning, carried through the tunnel by a voice she didn't recognize, yet somehow felt she had heard before. "You see the truth even when others don't. That makes you valuable." Evelyn froze. The girl clutched her arm tighter. "That's not him. That's one of the elders." A tall figure emerged ahead, stepping out from the darkness without sound. Not glitching like the creature. Not distorted. This one was steady, solid, terrifyingly calm. Its body looked human from a distance. Broad shoulders, long coat, slow measured movements. But as it stepped into faint tunnel light, Evelyn saw the truth. Its face was a mosaic of shifting images. Eyes that weren't eyes. Mouths that weren't mouths. A collage of stolen faces flickering across skin like a living screen. Every blink changed its identity. Every step changed its form. "Detective Hart," it said warmly, as if greeting an old friend. "You've been watching us your entire life. You just didn't know it." Evelyn aimed her gun. "Stay back." The elder tilted its head. "Guns are pointless. You've seen that." Evelyn fired anyway. The bullet passed straight through its torso, shattering a stone face behind it, but leaving the creature unharmed. It smiled. "We exist between moments," it said softly. "Between the frames that your eyes cannot see. You humans spend your whole lives recording, capturing, viewing, but never realizing you're feeding us." Evelyn stepped backward, shielding the girl. "I'm here to get her out." "That's it." The elder's many shifting eyes studied the child. "She belongs here." "They all do." Then it looked at Evelyn. "But you are different. You don't just create fear, you understand it." "I don't understand anything about you," Evelyn snapped. The elder stepped closer. "You survived the camera in 2012. Her blood ran cold. Her breath caught. Her vision dimmed. "No," she whispered. "No one knew about that. No one." The elder nodded slowly. "We did." The girl tugged at Evelyn's sleeve. "What happened in 2012? But Evelyn couldn't speak. Her heart pounded as old memories clawed at the edges of her mind. Memories she spent years burying. The elder leaned closer. "You saw one of us back then. Just a glimpse. You forgot, or tried to. But we never forget those who can see us." Its voice sharpened, almost excited. "You were chosen 13 years ago. Tonight, we claim you." The ground beneath them shook. Cameras folded out of the walls like blooming metal flowers, their lenses snapping open, red lights flickering like hungry eyes. The girl screamed as the elder raised one shifting hand. "Witness," it commanded. All the cameras turned toward Evelyn, and at that exact moment, a human hand burst out of the darkness behind the elder, grabbing it by the throat. A voice roared, "Run!" Evelyn spun her head, and her entire world shattered. Because the man holding the creature wasn't a monster, it was her partner, Detective Marcus Hale. Missing for 2 years, eyes wild, clothes torn, breath ragged, but alive. "Evelyn," he shouted, straining against the elder's inhuman strength. "Take the girl and go. Now." Evelyn grabbed the child's hand. The elder's skin flickered violently, glitching, faces distorting, its voice echoing like a broken speaker. "You cannot escape. She is ours, the chosen. The Watchers see everything." Marcus yelled one last time. "Evelyn, move." She pulled the girl into a sprint, and for the first time since entering the underground labyrinth, Evelyn felt hope. A small, dying flame, but still burning. Evelyn didn't dare look back. She dragged the girl through the narrowing tunnels, Marcus's screams echoing behind her. Raw, furious, echoing with the sound of a man fighting something far bigger than himself. The ground trembled beneath her boots. Dust drifted from the ceiling like falling ash. Somewhere deep behind them, the elder's fractured voice boomed through the stone. You cannot take what we have claimed. The girl stumbled. Evelyn lifted her up without slowing. Don't look back, she whispered. Not for anything. Because she knew. If she saw what was happening to Marcus, she might not survive it. The tunnel curved sharply and opened into a cavern far larger than the others. This one wasn't carved by time or machinery. It felt grown. Massive pillars stretched up like roots, twined with camera wires that pulsed faintly as though carrying blood instead of electricity. Hundreds, no, thousands, of lenses lined the walls and ceiling like a colony of metallic insects. Every single one was pointed at her. The girl clutched her hand. This is the nest, Evelyn swallowed. What happens here? The girl's voice trembled. This is where they turn people into watchers. Evelyn's skin crawled as a platform appeared ahead, illuminated by a single cold spotlight. At the center of it stood an object, small, black, humming softly at a camera, but not like the others. This one breathed. With each inhale it expanded, its metallic casing stretching like skin. With each exhale it shrank, releasing a faint whisper that sounded almost human. The girl dug her nails into Evelyn's sleeve, terrified. That's the first eye, the one that started everything. Evelyn stepped closer despite every instinct screaming at her. The camera's lens shifted, focusing directly on her, and then she heard her own voice, echoing from the camera in a whisper. You were chosen. Her heart froze. The girl cried. It's reading your memories. It knows you. Before Evelyn could react, the elder's voice thundered from behind them, echoing through the nest like an ancient command. Bring her to the eye. Evelyn spun around. The elder stood at the cavern entrance, its form glitching, collapsing, reforming, as if Marcus's attack had damaged it. Its mosaic face flickered in rage, and behind it, Marcus stumbled into view, barely standing, blood dripping from his mouth, eyes wild but locked on Evelyn. Run, he croaked. Don't let it touch you. Then the elder grabbed him by the neck and lifted him effortlessly off the ground. Evelyn screamed, no. The elder turned Marcus toward her, like a puppet dangling on wire. He belongs to us now, it said calmly. And so do you. The first eye glowed brighter, humming like a heart about to burst. Marcus strained for breath. Evelyn, listen, the cameras don't just record. They feed on decisions, on fear. The elder squeezed harder. Marcus's voice broke. Whatever you do, don't let them make you choose. Evelyn didn't understand, but she had no time to ask, because the ground beneath the platform suddenly split open, and out of the darkness rose a cage of mechanical limbs, unfolding like a monstrous flower. The first eye lifted itself, floating, its wires stretching like tendrils, reaching for her. The elder commanded, Evelyn Hart, step forward and be seen. The girl screamed and clung to Evelyn's waist, sobbing, don't. If you step onto that platform, they'll never let you leave. Evelyn's chest heaved. Behind her, Marcus choking, dying. Before her, the first eye glowing, wanting her. Beside her, a child who depended entirely on her. And above, thousands of cameras watched silently, waiting for her choice. Marcus's voice broke through the chaos one last time. Evelyn, whatever you do, don't choose. Evelyn grabbed the girl and sprinted straight toward the first eye. Every camera in the nest began to scream. Evelyn didn't hesitate. She ran straight toward the first eye, not because she wanted to step into its trap, but because Marcus's last words echoed in her skull. Don't let them make you choose. If she ran toward the thing that wanted her most, she wasn't choosing. She was breaking their pattern. The first eye's glowing lens widened like a pupil dilating in hunger. Its metal limbs unfurled, reaching for her like roots craving soil. Cameras around the nest screeched with mechanical fury, their lenses shaking, their servos grinding in rage. The elder screamed from behind, Stop her! Evelyn reached the platform, and at the last possible second, she veered left. The first eye lunged, its tendrils slashing through empty air where her body should have been. The entire cavern shook. The girl screamed, clinging to Evelyn's coat as she dragged her toward a narrow maintenance shaft half hidden beneath broken wires and debris. The elder roared. She defies the Watchers. She must be seen. Marcus, still pinned in the elder's grasp, managed to choke out a desperate laugh. That's it. Evelyn. Break their script. Evelyn shoved the girl toward the opening of the shaft. Go. Crawl. The child froze. No. You'll get taken. Move. The girl crawled inside. Evelyn turned back. The first eye hovered angrily above the platform, its limbs twitching like an insect denied its prey. Cameras across the nest clicked violently, flashing images onto the cavern walls, distorted photographs of Evelyn, taken at impossible angles, from years ago. Her childhood bedroom, her academy graduation, her first crime scene at a hospital bed, her mother crying beside her. The images played like a broken documentary of her life. The elder stepped forward, dragging Marcus along like a rag doll. Its voice dropped into a deep, resonant growl. You were born for us. Every camera you ever faced fed us. Every fear you hid strengthened us. You belong to the nest. Evelyn's voice drowned in fury. I don't belong to anything. The elder raised its shifting hand, faces flickering across its skin like trapped souls banging against glass. Then watch him die. Its finger elongated, needle-thin, pressing against Marcus's throat. Marcus gasped. His voice trembled, barely audible. Evelyn, don't look at me. Don't look at them. Just trust me one last time. Her eyes burned. Her lungs shook. I'm not leaving you. He smiled. Weak, broken, but real. You already saved me when you didn't choose. Before Evelyn could move, the entire chamber jolted. The first eye screamed, not a mechanical sound, but a human howl ripped from a dozen stolen voices. The cameras stuttered, glitching violently. Marcus twisted, using the chaos to wrench himself free, slamming his elbow into the elder's fractured body. The elder's mosaic face shattered like a screen struck by a hammer. Its voice broke into static. Evelyn grabbed Marcus's arm. Come with us. For a moment, it seemed he might, but then Marcus shook his head and pushed her back, hard. Save the girl, he said, blood pooling at his lips. Don't worry about me. Marcus, Gio. The elder lunged at him again. Evelyn stumbled back toward the shaft as the cavern shook harder, cameras exploding from the walls in sparks and smoke. The first eye screeched and hurled itself at Marcus and the elder, its tendrils whipping wildly. It wasn't choosing anymore. It was raging. Marcus met Evelyn's eyes one last time. I'll hold them. Evelyn turned, heart ripping, and threw herself into the maintenance shaft, grabbing the girl and scrambling forward as the entire nest collapsed behind them. Sparks rained down. Cameras burst like dying fireflies. The elder's multi-voiced scream echoed through the tunnels. And somewhere inside the collapsing darkness, Marcus roared back. Evelyn crawled faster, dragging the girl, her breath ragged, her vision swimming. She didn't know if Marcus survived. She didn't know if the Watchers were dead, but she knew one thing. They weren't done with her, not even close. The moment Nathan crossed the broken threshold of the farmhouse, the air changed. Heavy, stale, thick like a room that had been holding its breath for too many years. Behind him, the long stretch of empty land seemed to seal shut, as if the world outside had decided he no longer belonged to it. Inside, it was silent, not peaceful silent, but watching silent. Nathan moved slowly, flashlight trembling in his hand. The beam cut across peeling wallpaper, broken furniture, and long-dead dust. But none of that was what bothered him. It was the smell. Old earth. Mold. And something metallic, faint, but sharp, like dried blood that he swallowed hard and forced himself deeper into the hallway. A sound broke the stillness. Tap, tap, tap. Something was hitting the wooden floor above him. Slow. rhythmic, too deliberate to be an animal, but too soft to be footsteps. Nathan tilted the flashlight upward at a ceiling hatched an attic. The taps continued, like fingers drumming softly. For a long moment, he froze. His brain wanted to run. His body refused to move. Every instinct screamed that going up there was the worst possible choice. But the recordings, those last seconds of Leah's file. Nate, if you hear this, don't go to the house. Don't. The audio had cut off in a burst of static and a scream that he couldn't leave. He wouldn't. With trembling hands, Nathan reached up, pulled the attic cord, and winced as the wooden ladder unfolded with a long, agonizing creak. The tapping stopped. Complete dead silence. Nathan climbed. Each step groaned under his weight. His heartbeat pounded louder than his footsteps. He reached the top and slowly pushed his head into the darkness. His flashlight revealed the entire attic floor covered with pages, hundreds, old papers. Yellowed, torn, some burn around the edges. Not random papers. Diaries of Leah's handwriting. His chest tightened. He dropped to his knees and picked one up. A child's writing at first, but the dates were wrong. Years before Leah was born, that he grabbed another. Same handwriting, same style, same signature. Leah, but dated decades ago. His mind spun. How could this be? Before he could breathe, before he could think, the attic went cold. Ice cold. The papers rustled. Slowly, patiently, as if something unseen was crawling its fingers through them. Nathan's flashlight flickered. He felt pressure behind him, like someone leaning close to whisper in his ear. A voice, soft, female, broken. Not Leah, not human. You finally came home. Nathan spun around. The flashlight steadied, and he saw her, not standing, not walking, but hanging. A woman suspended from the attic beam by a rope, head tilted unnaturally, eyes open and staring straight into him. Not dead, not alive. The body swayed gently as if pushed by a breath he couldn't feel. Her eyes blinked. Once, slowed. Nathan's lungs locked. His legs refused to move. The woman's lips curled, not in a smile, but in a recognition. Older than him, older than the house, older than the diaries he held. Then, without warning, her head jerked sharply. Her neck snapped a second time, and she looked directly into the flashlight. Nathan, she whispered, voice scraping like shattered glass. You were chosen long before you were born. The attic door slammed shut behind him. The rope snapped. The body fell, right toward him, and the flashlight went out. Darkness swallowed Nathan the moment the flashlight died. Not normal darkness. This was total, the kind that erased shape, depth, even the sense of space. The kind that made you forget you had a body. He staggered backward, hands shaking in the pitch black, trying to find the attic wall, the ladder, anything. But the house didn't let him. The air changed again. Heavy, pressurized, like the attic itself was inhaling. Then, a breath on his neck, slow, wet, too close. Nathan spun blindly. Who's there? A whisper came from behind him, then beside him, then inside his left ear. You know my name. He didn't. He was sure he didn't. Yet something inside him tingled with the horrible sense that he once did. His fingers brushed something on the floor. Paper point, one of Leah's attic diaries. He snatched it up, flipping it open in the darkness. The pages shifted and scraped, but he couldn't see a word. Then the pages lit, gently, like they were glowing from within. Words burned themselves across the sheets, written in fresh, dripping ink. The bloodline was never broken. The house always calls them back. One dies. One returns. It ends when the last one accepts. Nathan's breath trembled. Suddenly, new ink wrote itself rapidly, filling the page. Nathan, you are the last. His chest tightened like a hand had reached inside and squeezed. The soft chuckle echoed behind him. He froze. The chuckle grew, warping, stretching, becoming the same voice from the hanging woman, but now clearer, closer, too human and too wrong. Your sister tried to run from the truth. The voice crooned. She thought she could warn you. But the house does not accept betrayal. Nathan's heart dropped. What? What did you do to her? Nothing answered. Instead, the darkness thinned just enough for him to see a shape ahead, a faint figure. Sitting in the corner of the attic, Nathan's throat tightened. Leah? The shape looked up, not with eyes, but with two burning white voids. She stepped forward, slow and uneven. Nathan stumbled back, panic ripping through him. But the house shifted around him like it was closing a fist at Leah's voice. Yet not Leah's, spoke from the shape. You should have come sooner. Nathan's tears blurred as he whispered. Leah, if you're in there, fight it. The figure tilted its head, a crack echoed. Then she rushed forward in a blur of shadows. Nathan braced, but instead of attacking, she slammed something into his hand, a pendant. Her pendant, the one she'd always worn, the one she must have died clutching, the one glowing warm now, pulsing like a heartbeat. A whisper, soft, broken, real, escaped the figure. End it, please. Then she dissolved into black dust that blew past him and vanished. Nathan's legs gave out. He collapsed to the attic floor, clutching the pendant, crying into the darkness that swallowed the last piece of his sister. The house creaked. The attic pulsed. The diaries began to burn around him, each in silent, controlled flames. The voice returned, this time cold. Final. The bloodline ends only with you. Nathan rose slowly, pendant glowing bright enough to push back the shadows. And for the first time since entering the house, he wasn't terrified, he was furious. He walked toward the burning diaries, pendant burning hotter in his hand. The house roared, furious, rattling its bones. Nathan whispered through clenched teeth. Then let's end it. He stepped into the fire. The attic erupted in white light, and the house, the voice, the curse, all screamed at once. Then, silence. The farm collapsed behind him as Nathan stumbled out, pendant still glowing, dawn breaking over the horizon. He didn't know if he ended the curse. He didn't know if something followed him out. All he knew was that Leah was gone, but her last whisper stayed with him. End it, and Nathan understood. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of whatever was still coming for him.